Hello, hello, Legacy Builders. Welcome back to another show here at the Life School Masterclass Show. I'm so blessed to be back with you here with another amazing conversation. It's on Masterclass, another show and guest talking about a very near and dear topic to my heart, which is all about authenticity, brand building, storytelling, connecting at a deeper level with the humans around us, and the relationship building part, which is so important with all the work that we all do in the attempt to do more good in the world, to change lives, to create impact, but also really leverage, and once we discover our talent and our purpose, to be able to put that to good use in service towards others. So without further ado, I would like to say hi to my guest, Dhylles Victoria. Dhylles, thank you so much for coming on today's show. And I love today's topic. So I always start with some of the things that you have seen get in your client's way, or maybe in your own personal way, when it comes to really connecting with the people that we want to help or serve at a deeper level. What are some of those things that you have seen?
Well, first of all, thank you, Elona, for having me. I appreciate it. Very grateful and humble. The first very, very top thing that I notice is that they are afraid of being judged. And so sometimes they don't want to put their stuff out there. And what I try to explain to them is that someone needs to hear what it is that you have to say. Once you start sharing your story, people is going to gravitate to it because you're coming from a very authentic, heartfelt place. It's very real, it's very honest, and it's very vulnerable. And that's what the world needs more of: vulnerability, realness, and authenticity. And the other thing that I noticed is that they're not confident in what it is that they're about to say, where their story is concerned, because a lot of my clients, they're like, oh, but I want to be private. I'm like, yeah, but you're on a public platform. So might as well just share the information. You can do it in a very respectful way where it's not compromising your integrity about what you want to share, but based on the topic, people want to know how you got from point A to point B. They want to know the transformation. They want to know the secret sauce. And the more that you share that information, the deeper you're able to connect with another person or a potential client, because you're building trust and credibility, and they're going to like what you have to say. And that's how they trust you and want to work with you.
Oh gosh, you said so many beautiful things there, and I think the one that stood out the most is about the fear of being seen, right? And for most of us, it could stem from many reasons why. But once you kind of just take that leap of faith and just start to share some of the things that you really feel could be in service towards others, especially in the online world, because you don't have the direct human touch, and you don't really see
Right.
directly how your content is being it's impacting somebody that reads it, and working more on this quality concept rather than quantity. At least for me, that's kind of what I'm intuitively feeling is kind of needed, especially now with AI and all of that. Working more on quality, like content that's coming from the heart, from the experience, integrity, honesty. You get to control where you're ready, what you are ready to feel like sharing. Because
Yep.
sometimes, that's the other thing that I think I was always the mom, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to put all my stuff out there in the attempts. So that's doing this for the wrong reason. But when you comes on, the other end is doing it from a good place where you really have healed some of those things, and you are ready now to share that with others. Take your time. There is no rush. So I love that you help your clients patiently to go through that process and finding their voice, because that's also a evolutionary process. And the
Yes.
only way to be able to do it is just start writing, start speaking. There's only two
Yep.
channels, so that is how we get to hear ourselves back. And you not only can reflect and get so much growth out of that, but you start to value clarity on what am I about? Like, what is my
Exactly.
what do I want to stand for? So I think it's really beautiful to
Thank
be able to
you.
do that, and the work that you're doing and the service that you're providing for other people as well. What are some, maybe I'm always curious. Like I believe in timeless fundamentals. I believe in timeless foundations. So I'm sure that you probably work with so many people, and you have seen patterns repeat along the work that you do. I surely do that all day, every day with business scaling. What are
Mhm.
some of the patterns that you have seen? Or yeah, I would say that. I know we started with some of the problems, but some of the patterns that you have seen repeat in your work, if you can just pinpoint them.
Yeah, absolutely. Levels of self worth, having the energy of being in lack. Self worth is a top one because it's like I don't feel like I have enough experience to share my story, or I feel like my story it doesn't matter, or sometimes it's like, what is my family going to think of me sharing this? So mindset stuff happens, and self-worth stuff. That's the patterns that I see more than anything else.
So it all comes down to that foundational thing, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? I said the thing. I become like such a student of fundamentals because I'm like, wait, all those stuff that, sometimes on the outside, and especially when you're providing a service, we feel nervous about like the content we want to share. But I'm like, wait, it always comes
Yeah.
down to one fundamental. Figure
Yes.
that out and then go after that. Because that is the
Yep.
one thing blocking people. It's like anything, even in relationships. Like we fight, partner, life
Yeah.
partner, about like so much meaningless stuff. But at the
Right.
end of the day, because there's like stuff at the core there's gaps there. So
Yep.
I do find those with the people we serve. I think it's really important to really just nip the messaging part in the bud, but also uh, ensure that you're really building your thought leadership and your depth because people are craving for that for sure.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it, Phyllis.
So
Mm,
being a certified life coach, the brand story expert hat comes off at that point, and the life coach hat comes on at that point, to empower, to elevate, to motivate, to inspire, and also to share my stories, how I felt when I made a decision to want to share my life with the world and the things that I've been through. And then actually, show them like different messages and testimonies and stuff from people that were like, thank you so much for sharing your story with me, because it's the same thing I'm going through right now, and your tips and your strategies and the stuff that you offered really is helping me in my life. And I said, that makes me feel good. So I said, imagine how many people's lives you'll be changing by just sharing exactly what you know, and sharing your experience. And your worth is something that definitely needs to be worked on, and that's a process every day, depending on what experience or trauma that you went through. However, if you make a commitment and a contract to yourself to really say, let me work on my worth and my value, then it's worth it, because you're here for a purpose. You're not here on purpose. And we were all blessed with specific gifts, and we need to honor those gifts.
got goosebumps on that. So say that again. We're here for.
For purpose and not on purpose.
Hmm, I'm gonna meditate on that. I love that. That's so. Yeah, I mean, okay, great. I love it. Well, let's get to the process. So I think my next question is maybe around repetitive process with your work, the way you have
Yeah.
structured, built to the solution
Yeah.
to the problem that you solve for your clients. What are some of the fundamentals that you walk them through? So obviously also
Um,
sharing, some important, valuable information for the audience.
sure. The first thing that I ask them is, who are they on a personal level? And I ask them, what do they have in common with the people that they're going to be serving? Because I don't say try, I always say who you're going to be serving, because we want to affirm that you're going to walk in confidence when you're sharing your brand, your story, whatever the case may be. The other thing I ask them is, what makes them so unique within themselves that someone would want to work with them? And then the next question would be, what do you have in common with the people that you're working with? And then we create relatable content around that, and we create content that actually evokes emotions and connection. And we don't do content as in written. What I tell my clients to do and encourage them to do is make a list of different lifestyle things that they want to share, and record it as in reels and videos, and also to also put down topics of how each of their products and services has transformed their life. So it's pretty much about walking the walk and talking the talk. Not only saying, hey, I have this thing here, you want to buy it from me? No, it's like, this really changed my life, and let me tell you how. And share that story, and give perfect examples of how it helped you with clarity, how it helped you get more confidence, or whatever the product or the service is, and go deep into it. And so once we have that set up, then I start helping them with just like brand story tips and strategies and things like that they can share on social media. So I do like a 30-day template with them, so they would never run out of information to share. And it has to be reels or videos, because I tell them, I want people to hear your passion for what you do, to feel the excitement in what you do, and to hear how wonderful and amazing you are as a person, not just as a professional, but as a human being. And that would be my process.
I love how you help them structure pretty much their authenticity, right? Because even that, we need a structure around it. We need boundaries on how to be able to do it. That's what I got from what you're sharing. And yeah, I mean, video is the highest form of connection that we have in the virtual world. Otherwise, the next thing is meet live.
Right.
On a live basis. Yeah, absolutely. Love your framework, and I like the connection that you made with the video for the story behind the things that we say, because that's a big pain point for people. Like, oh, like I don't want to like selling, and especially when you're putting out your offers on social media and all of that. I mean, people want to, you always hear the purpose behind why it's important to you, right? And why could
Absolutely.
also be important to me, and we mirror each other and all of that. So, always like keeping that purpose at heart behind
Mhm.
anything we share, I think it's definitely going to help people connect with us and help them see themselves through us. I think that's usually what happens, the mirror effect. But yeah, beautiful work. And I know you've also written a couple of books.
Have.
It's I always, we were talking about this before we started our recording, that it's like, how amazing is it that we get to document and structure our experiences. And I'm going to ask you about your journey or your book writing, and why do you feel inspired and intuitively aligned with kind of just, okay, this is the book I'm gonna write, and the purpose behind each. But I really find that, yeah, I mean, there's nothing better out there than to be able to document and leave it for generations, because the book is always going to be there. Maybe digital, media is on rented land. Things could change with
Yep.
platforms, but just like anything, we want to try to own our assets and our intellectual property and our unique authenticity and life journey and experience. And I myself fell in love with books once I wrote my first one. So, how was your journey with your book writing? How did that come about?
Well, I had a near-death experience in 2011. I had fibroids, and it got infected and almost killed me. And I remember when I got out the hospital, because I was the shoulda, coulda, woulda girl on my deathbed, and I said I made a promise to myself to do all the things that I said that I wanted to do and not leave it for last minute. So a book was always something that I wanted to do, but it wasn't until 2013 when I went to Puerto Rico, and I had a vision that I was going to find an old woman that was going to change my life. And I didn't realize the old woman had passed, and it was her spirit. It was the first prime minister or president of Puerto Rico. Her name was Doña Fela Rincon, and she spoke to my heart space in the museum. And the tour guide was intuitive and a medium, and said, "Doña Fela says you need to write your life story because there's power in your story and there's freedom in your story." So I went back to New York, and I'm like, okay, Doña Fela, like, you need to help me write this book. And I just felt an energy inside of me, and the words just kept flowing, and sentences turned into paragraphs. And I came up with Your Life, Your Purpose, No Explanations. That's the name of my first book. So all of my books that I've ever written is based on how I turn trauma into triumph, how I turn obstacles into victories. And they're all based on just different things that I've experienced in my life, from the near death experience to overcoming child sexual abuse to miscarriages, to all the things I've been through my near death experience. So each book has something powerful within it for people to realize that anything that you've been through that was a trial or tribulation or obstacle, it should not define who you are, that you can consistently continue to live life and be the kind of person to confront your fears, because fears is what keeps and holds us back. But once you confront it, then you're able to really, really, truly experience who you truly are at your core.
Hmm. Well, thank you so much for sharing that from your heart. And you just gave me like an idea. What if we all document our life journeys,
Yep.
our experiences,
Hmm.
service towards others, all the most obviously impactful experiences that we have really shifted us and grown us and
Yep.
transformed to the next level. We could share that with people. Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's
for
amazing.
sure.
And I love that you intuitively you came up with your books, because I have felt the same. All my books has pretty much been like the dots are connected in my own journey.
Yes.
I always find that that's the best thought leadership. You get taught brand building, you get taught thought leadership, like all these things, and authority building. There's nothing more authority building, and all of these technical, traditional words, in business, building your brand and your company or business into your
Yeah.
to others than just raw, authenticity and
Yeah.
you getting inspired and working on your own levels of awareness so that you're like, okay, that's the next thing.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I got a intuitive opening into my next book, which is gonna be the mission of humanizing businesses. But it's freaking amazing. What is the name of your latest book?
It's called Lean Into Your Fears. And the reason why I named it that is because I'm a jewelry crafter and I sell at the park here in Savannah. And a girl was walking around with baby snakes, and I was definitely afraid of snakes. And I just felt compelled in my spirit to hold the snake and confront my fear. And so I was talking to a friend of mine about this situation or the experience that I had. And she was like, "Damn, you're brave." And I said, "Well, sometimes you just have to lean into your fear." And I was like, "Oh, shit, that's my next book."
I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, I have a similar theme happening. But see, it's amazing though. Like I don't know if obviously there's so much explanation to how we all are in synchronicity amongst one another, but it's like we're all trying to overcome something because that's
Yes.
no other, only way to get to the next level. And new stuff shows up, which is so fun. It gets to be fun then.
Right.
But the only
Yeah.
way I love it, yeah, I love what you said that you just expose yourself to the thing you're most afraid of. Otherwise, you'll be a prisoner to it for life, and
Yes.
you start to, like get shrunk. You will start to shrink eventually, also consciously or unconsciously, unless you just open up and deal with it and expose yourself to it and come on the other side with so much more, growth and confidence. You're like, oh, that's all there was. I'm
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm so passionate about brand storytelling and transformation, because we all have stories that are inside of us that is bursting to come out of us, and to tell it in your own way, in your own words, and that actually shows how unique you are in your own way, because there's no one else like you. Nobody else can tell your story like you. Nobody can articulate how you're feeling more than you. So why not put it out into the world? And like I said, for purpose, not on purpose, because we're all here with specific gifts that were given to us that we don't even have to go to school for, because it's embedded. It's running through your veins, it's in your DNA. So expand it and allow that to make you who you are. Like just allow that to make it, just expand who you are in that way, because I don't want anyone to be on their deathbed or taking their last breath and they're like, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, and I didn't. When you have the time to do so, because we all know our birth date, we don't know our death date, and death is inevitable. We just don't know when, how, and why. So either you take your last breath with peace and joy that you fulfilled everything that you wanted to do, or you take your last breath with regret. But at that point, there's nothing you could do about it.
Absolutely. I just have the same see, I mean, why are we having this convo? Whoa. I mean, it's crazy. We are so equipped as humans with like we obviously we don't even know our power of how we
Mhm.
world, and we have so much intuitive power, we have so much wisdom, we have so much talent, we have so many things in different areas. We can develop it all, honestly. There's no such thing as
Absolutely.
like, oh, I'm only good at this. That's a limiting thing because I those were our stories. All the things that I have said that, oh, I'm not good at that, or that's not for me, or oh, maybe it's good for somebody else. I've overcome. So I'm like, whoa, I was so wrong.
Exactly.
I hit
Exactly.
so much. So,
And
oh
I,
my, this is life's work, and you're supporting others with it. This is really inspiring.
yeah.
So much for sharing
And I
that.
feel like too, when you confront fear or you confront specific parts of yourself, there's such freedom to it that you're releasing unnecessary things that are no longer serving you, where you can actually experience true peace and joy within yourself, mind, heart, body, and spirit. And at the end of the day, that's what we strive for. Yes, it's great to have all the money in the world, but if you have all the money in the world, but you're not true to the self, and you're still in agonizing pain and discomfort, and you're still living in the past, like it's not serving you. So it's really going within and doing all the introspection, all of the work, the forgiveness, the compassion, the grace, the peace of the self. That's what success and riches look like to me.
Hmm. Well, I have to ask you then now on the practical side, what do you do to keep yourself, aware around some of the things that are holding you back? But do you have like a practice that maybe you do personally that you have leaned on that has really helped you tap into your self-awareness,
Yep.
self-discovery, work for you?
I love being barefoot in the grass and connecting with Mother Nature and thanking Mother Nature for my health, my strength, my clarity, all of the things. And when I'm having a really, really bad day or the imposter syndrome hits me, I take a walk to the park and I put my feet in the grass and I just remember all of the things that I do have, that I woke up this morning, that I have impeccable health. There's nothing wrong with me. I have a place to live, like the simple things I'm grateful for, and that keeps me elevated. And then I have a tribe of wonderful people around me when I'm going through something and I'm like, I'm having a vulnerable, transparent moment, guys. Like, I'm going through it today. And they send me love and energy and wrap their arms around me. And then I talk to God of my own understanding and I talk to my spirit guides. And I'm just like, just transmute this energy that's not mine out of my being, because I don't want it. I don't need it. Is a waste of time. But I also sit in whatever it is. I sit in the emotions and feelings and I ask myself, what is this situation teaching you? What is it that you need to learn? That's what I do.
Hmm. Whew. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dhylles. I felt the connection. I think it's, I mean, I think the work you're doing is like fundamental for people.
Thank you.
I mean, we all, I feel like sometimes us that, are always interested in self-development and kind of raising our consciousness and awareness level sometimes have to fit our work into predictable, structural, traditional, containers. I mean,
Yep.
I get it. Innovation is always going to live between the old and the new, but
Mhm.
I just, yeah, I love that the info is out there. People are doing this work, and then finally we can talk about things the way that things are really felt from the heart, and without
Absolutely.
kind of the need to kind of marry the old and the new. I find the same for business. Sometimes I have to use these business words for things that are very human. So yeah, I just kind of got that from what you shared as well, and thank you so much for sharing your practices. I do all of what you said as well, and all of us have to find our own. And
Yeah.
at a certain phase and stage, something will serve you. Maybe you'll outgrow it. You'll find something else because obviously you have new levels of awareness. And just keep fluidity. Keep
Absolutely.
flow
Absolutely.
in the
Yeah.
life. Beautiful, beautiful work. Well, Dhylles, me and you, I think we connected, so we can just keep going. I'm sure, but
Exactly.
let's end our conversation here. Maybe a beautiful message, final message, whatever's coming up for you, and let's get our audience. We just started this conversation today. Let's get them to further connect with you, and be a valuable resource to each other's networks.
Absolutely. My message is just to tell each person just to be your authentic, beautiful self with all your faults, your imperfections, and to embrace and accept everything that's you, your light, your shadow, all of the sides of you, and just embody that in everything that you do, in every room that you walk in. Just show who you truly are to your core. And that will help you to be free as you want to be and experience the peace that you want to experience. And don't be afraid of in going introspect doing your introspection. Don't be afraid of doing the inner work of self, because you will introduce yourself to a person that is so powerful and that's so needed here in this world.
Huh. Amen to that. Beautiful. Where can we send the audience? Is there a website? Is there next?
You can follow me on all the socials. Just type in my name, Dhylles, Dillis. I'm everywhere. I'm the only one there, so you can just type in Dillis and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all of the platforms. I'm on there.
Yeah, talk about brand. I always thought of things the same way. Obviously, we are, intentional about these platforms, but if we can reach people in the platforms and use these as channels to share, pretty much to share. That's all there is, honestly,
Yeah.
at the end of the day. It's just sharing. Yeah, and that's why we do it for a good reason. So definitely I would encourage everybody to also connect with Phyllis. She'll be inside our the life school community as well, and you'll find her there. And just take the next step to connect and mention the show, and just take those conversations at the next level. You never know how we can support one another. And we have a Google link. Is that like a
Yep.
resource for people?
Yep. That's my it's a resource link that you can go to find out all things Dillis. everything about me, what I do personally, and get to know me on a deeper level, because that's where I share a majority of my information. And all the things that I do as a jewelry crafter, the different media outlets that I've been on, different things like that. So you get to know me, the person, inside and out.
Ooh, truly hard driven. Definitely encourage everybody to do that. And again, Phyllis, thank you so much for participating today. And I always want to thank you for your time and attention. I know that you could be anywhere. So the fact that you showed up here, I hope that you walked away with something that was really valuable for you. Or if not, then you just kind of met, another new cool person in the world doing amazing work. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to review, subscribe, and also share this. Back to sharing. Share this with people that you really think will add value to. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time with another amazing show and conversation. Bye, everybody.
You experiencing these two main gaps in your company and your business: inconsistent cash flow and clients, and also scalability issues. Maybe you've reached your maximum capacity with your current business model and the way that you're operating your business now, and you are really experiencing burnout and no time freedom in your business, but you're not sure what to do to be able to scale your company to the next level, so that your company also becomes an independent asset outside of you, so that it can become an asset if maybe later you would like to sell your company or build a legacy company that really does more good in the world. For my dear podcast listeners, I'm offering a free 30-minute discovery call where I will intentively listen to what is it that you've built in your company thus far, and then offer my insight around some of the gaps that I can hear from the main gaps that we talked about at the beginning of this conversation that you might be experiencing. And I would love to offer some insight around my experience on what might some of those gaps be, and ways to further support you in the future of the scaling of your purpose and profit, so that absolutely you can do more good in the world and your company can be independent of its founder and owner and become an asset that also creates amazing momentum out there in the world. For a limited time, I would love to offer my 30-minute time on my calendar for a free discovery call. You can just grab a time on the QSR code right here on the left-hand side of the screen, and grab a time so we can further connect. Again, thank you so much for being loyal listeners to the podcast, and also for always supporting the show. I'll see you with another episode and another amazing conversation.